Hey everyone, welcome to Pastor Play. So today we have Mayfair Witches Season 1, Episode 6, titled Transference. So Cyprian and Rowan are sleeping together, not in the Mayfair house, but his safe house, and are starting to build some kind of a relationship. Will it last? We'll see. Rowan at first is holding on to the key necklace like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, like, my precious. And then when she realizes her behavior, she tells Cyprian, get that thing away from me. And then we go to this online mob for burning witches is getting more and more traction and public attention. And cousin Tessa tells Roman, you have the power to stop this. Why don't you? And that they have her mom's heart in a glass jar. Roman's like, no, I don't want this power with Lasher because it comes with a price. Now, Rowan goes to Uncle Cortland for help and learns he has ALS, which is a fatal disease. But there is a ceremony that she learns from one of her other cousins where Rowan can transfer her power and connection to Lasher to another female next of kin. There's a creepy doll made up of a collection of previous designees' bones, teeth, and hair that is needed to do the ceremony, as far as all the power of all the Mayfair witches and all the Mayfair women. Now, Rowan does the ceremony with all the other Mayfair women of her family, and Tessa becomes the new designee because Lasser decides, it's her if she accepts him. And Rowan does look sad at the end of the ceremony and is told that there may be, consequences or repercussions for her basically taking the connection of Lasher away from her or out of herself and giving it to another family member. And she said that's fine. I don't need Lasher in my life, basically. Now we go to Cyprian, who ends up taking the key necklace that he got from Rowan earlier in the episode. He takes it to the Talamascus to learn how the connection between the Mayfairs and Lasher began by using his powers of touch to search the memories of the key necklace. And we go back in time and we see Suzanne. She gets taken and put on trial by the man of God as a witch in her village for being a midwife and a healer. She gets locked in a cage where she is about to get thrown in the river, and the man that she was masturbating in the woods, which was like the very first or second episode, takes her little sister off away from the mob around Suzanne. It's creepy. It was creepy in that episode, and he's creepy now. But now, assumingly, he's gonna do whatever he wants to her sister, which is effed up. And people are so busy trying to crucify Suzanne, they're not even paying attention to him. And the girl, I'm like, girl, you better fight for yourself, right? Even though they probably gonna say she a witch too, because that's what they did during those times. But Suzanne, as this is going on, as they're about to like throw her basically to her death, Suzanne starts chanting some summoning spell that ends up bringing Lasher to her aid, and he burns the entire village down. And then the key used to lock the cage that Suzanne is in, he strangles the neck of the witch hunter who has the key around the keychain necklace around his neck, and then he makes it appear on Suzanne's neck to set herself free, and she ends up walking off with Lasser. So basically, she's the first Mayfair witch who started it all and began the connection with Lasser to her future bloodline. And basically, when this happens, Suzanne is Lasher's witch now and is bound to fulfill an ancient prophecy. At the point, at and at this point, the ceremony of Rowan transferring her power to Tessa has ended, and the keychain is in Tessa's possession now. And during the ceremony, you literally see Rowan like coughing up the keychain. It disappears. Yeah, I'll go into that. So basically, in the ceremony, Rowan ends up coughing up the keychain, like literally out of her like body or throat or whatever, and it now is in Tessa's possession, and it has disappeared from Cyprian's hands and has left him trapped in Susan's memory. Now, in this episode too, we see that Tessa, now with the keychain, she decides to go meet up with the online screen name who has Deidre's Mayfair's heart in the jar. She meets him in the woods by herself, and she ends up getting captured. And Lasher does not come to help her. She starts chanting Lasher for to come, and Lasher doesn't. I don't know why she went by herself. Didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. Like, you don't go to the woods by yourself. Now, sometimes you run to the woods because you're running away from danger, but you don't just go into danger. Even if you're a witch, you still can. Okay, but then we go to Mayfair, which is season 1, episode 7, titled Tessa. And we basically learn that Lasher's out here playing chess, and Rowan Cyprian is playing checkers. Because Rowan, with her power, realizes that she is pregnant with Cyprian's baby. So even though now she has apparently the connection between her and Lasher has been severed, she still has her power, where she can kind of look through the person and look at the different wires and stems and veins or whatever throughout their body and things like that. And she kind of does it to her own body and realizes that she is actually pregnant. But Rowan can't get a hold of Cyprian because he is still trapped in it, because he's still trapped in what is actually Lasher's memory. And at this point, Lasher tells Cyprian, I told you to stay away, but you couldn't help yourself. And then Lasher just ends up leaving Cyprian there in his memory, kind of trapped in Susan's cabin. And he lets Cyprian know that Rowan is pregnant and she will call on him in her hour of need and not Cyprian. And what Cyprian ends up doing, he ends up using like the different herbs and whatnot in Suzanne's cabin to kill himself in the memory to escape, and he comes back to the real world. Now, when he does, he is back at the Telemascus. When he awakes, he goes and tells his boss that it's their job to watch and not interfere. I'm sorry, Cyprian's boss tells him that it's their job to just watch and not interfere, and that Rowan is part of an ancient prophecy. Then we go back to Tessa, who is trapped of her own bad decision making at this point. And Lasher is not helping her at all. She keeps calling on Lasher. Lasher not coming. Lasher ain't concerned about Tessa. Lasher up here playing chess. And Tessa is just ain't got a clue. She's like, why have you forsaken me, Lasher? Because Lasher ain't with you. But either way, the Mayfairs end up coming and realizing that Tessa is missing and gone because Rowan comes to speak to Tessa to basically ask her to call Lasher, because when Rowan called Lasher, he did not come to Rowan. So she's like, well, let me go talk to Tessa to speak with Lasher to see is me being pregnant something that he has done. Even though I'm like, I mean, when Cyprian and Rowan were trapped in the house because Lasher had them trapped there, I guess they weren't using protection. And even when they were at the safe house, I guess they weren't using protection. Maybe they did. I don't know. I mean, they never showed that, but either way. So, I, we will find that out in the last episode. But either way, the Mayfairs, they use a scriber witch or a locating witch to find the whereabouts of Tessa. And they end up doing it with Rowan's blood because the mob or the people who have kidnapped Tessa has Deidre's heart. And because Deidre and Rowan, share the same blood because they're mother and daughter, they basically use Rowan's blood to find the location of the heart and where Tessa is. And when we go back to Tessa, her captors, they threaten to burn her if she doesn't show her powers while they're trying to film it to, show to the world that witches do exist. And at this point, Rowan gets to the location before the other family members. Rowan comes in, and as she's like killing the people before they end up burning Tessa, she ends up getting shot in the shoulder. And then Tessa gets shot in the neck and dies. And then Tessa lets Rowan know that, basically take the necklace, take it back. You obviously belong with Lasher, or Lasher wants you. He don't want me. She dies anyway. But Rowan puts back on the key necklace and starts to chant to summon Lasher, assumingly because I guess she wants to try to save Tessa's life. All right, so this is 6 and 7. Initially, from episode 1 to 5, things were happening, but they were happening at a slow rate that it felt like really nothing was happening. And so 6 and 7 is picking up the story. I guess it's picking up the pace a little bit because at the next episode is the season finale. I think the show had already been picked up for 2 seasons. So I don't know if it needs to be renewed for season 2. I believe it was already picked up for 2 seasons. So either way, the next review will be episode 8, and that's going to be the season finale of season 1. But let me know what you think of this review. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you have any comments on anything that I said, or did I miss anything? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever. So comment below. Please subscribe. Help me grow the channel. Other than that, check out my other reviews. And I will see you next time. Bye.